This is my take on Leohnard Danner's Nuremberg planes that were made in the like the 1560s. So I made mine a bit smaller than the originals. This one is sized to be about the same size as an instrument maker's hand plane. And just for comparison's sake, that's a kind of your standard issue number 4 versus a regular old run-of-the-mill block plane. Got your super tiny violin maker's block plane. This one, I kept the height the same and the tote size the same, but then I scaled down the length and the width. Mine's about 4 3/8 long. It is 1 1/4 inches wide. The center section here, let's just call it like the infill section, if you're thinking of this like an infill plane, that's 1 inch wide. The sides are both 1/8 inch thick. So the blade here is just over, is roughly 7/8 of an inch wide. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick, just a shade under. And it is bedded at 45 degrees with its bevel down. The entire plane is held together with pins. I think the originals might have been braced together. I couldn't quite figure that out. I'm just working off photos. So let's talk materials now. The tote and the thumb screw were both made from some 12L14. There's a lot of turning and machining that had to be done on this, so I wanted something that was going to machine very easily. The sides here are made from some 01 tool steel. It's annealed. I did not harden the sides. I went with the 01 because it's often used when making like infill hand planes. It wears incredibly well, and it's fairly easy to work with sandpaper, so you can kind of shine it up real nice. Additionally, I could get 01 precision ground. It saves me a bunch of time in getting, true material. I don't have to clean off forge scale. I don't have to get it flat. I don't have to do any of that kind of work. So that's a big chunk of that work's already done for me. And honestly, getting precision ground mild steel versus getting 01 precision ground, there's not much of a price difference, and the performance you get out of the 01 is definitely worth the little extra cost in getting that compared to, say, a mild steel. These intersections, the front, the back, and the bridge here, I went with 4140. Kind of the same reason like I did the 01. I could find it up to 1 inch thick that was precision ground, and so that saved me a ton of time in getting these 3 pieces to the correct size there, so I didn't have to worry about that. And additionally, like the 01, it's going to wear really well. So just in terms of use, it's going to wear well that way. And I knew I still had a lot of machining work to do on it, and 4140 machines better than what 01. It had a higher machinability rating, so that's why I went with the 4140. Now, I could have gone with 4140 for the sides. My only problem was I couldn't find any that was 1/8 of an inch thick. The thinnest I could find it was 1/4 inch. And the same for the 01. I couldn't find any 01 that was 1 inch thick to use for the insides. The blade here was made out of 1084. I use 1084 because it's basically the easiest to heat treat with a really simple setup. And the heat treating for the 1084 really is just heat it to the point where it's no longer magnetic, dip it in oil, and then bake it at like 340 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours, twice. The blade ended up having a Rockwell hardness somewhere around 62. Now I had 01 for the sides, I could have used 01 for the blades. The only reason I didn't was because that 01 is a little more in depth in terms of the heat treat. Ideally, you hold it at a specific temperature for a number of minutes, and I didn't really have the ability to do that. So 1084 was what I chose, and it seems to be working fairly well. In terms of use, it seems to be functioning pretty well. So I can get some nice thin shavings out of it. I don't know if you can see the side here. I was working on that earlier. It's nice and smooth. It's fairly shiny. it's basically it's ready for finish there. So I don't have a lot to complain about. I mean, there's little things here and there, but you don't need to know about those. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.